Welcome back to the Me in the Making podcast. I'm your host, Melly Clay, and thank you for coming on back. This is a podcast where I talk about my self-discovery, I talk about my life's journey, and I also talk to you about your discovery and your journey. This is the third season, but this show has two previous seasons that were audio only, and I was talking to guests about who they thought they were going to be when they were younger, who they are now, and what's their journey been since, they've been consciously thinking about it, and who are they becoming. And in season three, I am now on video as well. So if you're listening to this, on Apple Podcast or Spotify and you want to see me, then you can head over to YouTube. It's Making Me Pod and see me here. It's also in the show notes. You can just like click on the link from there. But yeah, I decided to do video this season and I'm very excited to keep this ball rolling and I hope you all continue to enjoy. But yeah, I just wanted to bring you all some solo episodes where I talk about my journey or like things that I've been ruminating on, etc., to encourage you all to do the same for yourselves. And I know that, especially after the pandemic, people have been doing this more and more. And I want to I want to encourage people to continue doing such because I just think it brings a lot of enrichment to your life and just really helps you to ground yourself and figure out, like what do I want my next decisions to be? What do I think about the way this interaction went with a friend or family member, or, what are the things that I need in order to be able to move forward and contribute well to society, etc. Like, I had a previous episode where I talked about my relationship with therapy. So, just we get into a lot of different things on here. And I hope some of the things that I'm saying are relatable to you all, or at least are thought provoking, to encourage you to either engage in the comments or to share with friends and family or to reach out to me. You can email me at melly@makingmepod.com and I'll get back to you. We could talk about anything. And I paused there because I'm like, can we talk about anything? And I hope you know that means anything within reason, of course. But yeah, thank you all for being here. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about monoculture. So I am in my 40s, and growing up, I used to watch a lot of Nick at Night. I would watch the I Love Lucy show. I would watch the Dick Van Dyke show, the Mary Tyler Moore show. We would watch the Jeffersons and Good Times and the Cosby Show. We would just watch a lot of different things all together, and I would hear about these TV shows or like people referencing, things that were said, etc. Well, maybe not so much at school when I was in elementary school, but yeah, we would talk about TGIF on ABC, like a lot of different shows that everyone was watching all at the same time, or maybe people were watching the same movies at the same time, like the Batman movies with Christopher Nolan as the director and like Christian Bale as Batman, or we would watch Star Wars or just countless other things that we as in society would be watching all of these things all at the same time because there weren't really a lot of different options. Like growing up, I had cable, but my me and my siblings, we weren't really allowed to watch a lot of like different things that were on uh cable TV unless maybe we just like sneaked and watched it on the side, you know what I'm saying? But when we were sitting down for dinner or whatever, we were all watching the same rated G type of things, which I think a lot of my friends were and a lot of other people were because maybe you weren't going to pay for cable or you just didn't think that it was necessary. So people are watching network television and we were engaging in some of the same concepts and just thinking about the same things. Because, this was way before the internet and we were just watching what these networks were giving us, basically. And I think we were going to movies a little bit more. I don't have the data on that. I don't know if that is just, that might just be my perception. But I think we were going to the movies a lot more, or if we weren't going to the movies, we were then watching the same movies. Like you went to Blockbuster and rented the movies, or Redbox when that was more of a thing, going to rent that Blockbuster that you missed in the movie theaters. Marvel movies. Oh my goodness. We used to be like really all in on the Marvel movies. Like you would go to work or school and people would be talking about Iron Man. They'd be talking about Captain America. They would be talking about even Black Panther, even as far back as like 6, 7 years ago. Um, but yeah, like we have a lot of options of what to watch, where to watch. YouTube, I know, has blown up with content, and there are just a lot of other things outside of network TV that we can watch. Like currently, I don't even watch, I think the only network television show that I watch currently, even within the past few years, is Abbott Elementary, actually. I think that might be the only one that I'm personally watching. And it's just a big change in how I engage with friends and family talking about TV and movies, because actually I guess I'm not really talking to them about a lot of that stuff. Like something that I would reference to my mom, maybe like Downton Abbey. Is that considered a network show? Because it came on PBS. But yeah, like I would to my mom about that. Like it was back in the day, in the 90s and early 2000s, I was having different conversations multi-generationally with friends and family versus what I'm talking about nowadays. And I do really appreciate like all the different options that we have. We don't all have to be watching the same thing and thinking about the same thing. It is really cool that independent people get to make TV series, like a YouTube series, or putting something on Vivo or whatever, and people are able to tap into those things. Like you don't need a studio to be able to back your YouTube series or your independent film. You can shoot it on an iPhone. You can shoot it on a DSLR. Like you don't need a lot of expensive equipment to do these things anymore. And I think that really can open up a whole new world to a lot of different types of ideas and ways of thinking, etc. Like I think that you know, death of monoculture currently is happening, but like, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I've just been thinking about, what that actually means for us as a society, when it comes to like, is that something that we need to get back? Do we need to kind of get monoculture back in order to get on the same page about some things, or like be thinking in the same thought process about things, whether it's politics or, religion, whatever the case might be, culture, etc. Do we need monoculture back? And I don't really have the answer for that. My gut says that we don't. My gut says that we need to be able to have different ways of thinking in order to like really get innovative in our problem solving. There are a lot of things where I don't think that the entities and institutions that we thought were going to save us maybe are not actually going to save us and not going to protect us. So we might need to think of innovative ways in order to be there for ourselves and like have communities. But and so maybe it is a good thing that we are a little bit more diversified in what we're consuming, because maybe then we can come up with different ways to come together and move forward past a lot of these hurdles that we've been experiencing in the past few years, and something that like society as a whole is seeing, like some issues that are coming up that you're like, whoa, I was not expecting to be going through this. Um, like I, I think I grew up pretty naive. I grew up sheltered and privileged. And now, like through my 20s, 30s, now my 40s, my eyes have been open to a lot more things. And I think that with the non-monoculture, what's the term of what we have right now? Like a lot of different cultures, not necessarily one culture, but this like multicultural type of vantage point that we're at right now, like this could be a good thing. I think that we can really use this to our advantage, to tap into things, but also to have the conversations, like not only to simply be consuming things, but to talk to our friends and family and different um, people in our communities about what it is that we're seeing. Because I do think that some pieces of media that are out there can be toxic and detrimental if those ideas aren't actually being shared. Like, oh, I was watching this thing on YouTube, or like I saw something on Reddit and I clicked the link and I was watching and this person was talking about some really interesting, ideas, and this is kind of what I'm thinking, like maybe it's going to be good to discuss those things with other people so that you can see like, is this person tapping into something that is not the best? Maybe it's a little bit nefarious, or maybe there are just some ideas that you think is the full idea, but maybe there are deeper things underneath it. So maybe it's not the best thing. I think what I'm trying to say is that with all the different forms of media and pieces of media that we're currently able to consume through all the streaming channels, pockets of the internet, I think that it's a good thing. And I also think that we should be having conversations about the things that we are watching and not consuming things in a vacuum. Um, this took a little bit of a different turn from what from my notes of what I was planning on talking about, but I do think that it's a way that we can continue to build community, because when we did have more of a monoculture, like we were engaging in conversation, we were talking about different things. And now, someone might not really be interested in network TV or paying for streaming channels. So maybe they're watching a lot of things on YouTube or wherever where they can consume these things without having to pay for them. But other people might not know what they're watching. So I think it would be great for people to be engaging in these conversations so that we can continue to build community around culture. Like culture is a huge, it's it's like really the only thing. I mean, it's not the only thing, but when it comes to us thinking about different things, like it's the main thing, I think. And I think that, us engaging in that conversation after we've consumed what we've seen or listened to or experienced, like even going to a theater play, like there might be something, a piece of media. I live in Chicago and there are so many different playhouses here in Chicago. Maybe I go to watch a play, maybe that play is only being put on for 2 weeks. So only simply a limited amount of people can go see that play. Maybe it's an original work and people haven't seen this play, but I've had the opportunity to see it. I can then, you know, engage in a conversation with my friends or family about what it is that I had seen, because maybe there's some really cool ideas that were presented in this play. So it's kind of like we're moving culture along with talking about what we're engaging in. A piece of art, that maybe you've been able to see because you went to a small gallery opening, and other people maybe going to a gallery is not their thing, but you could talk to them about this art piece you saw or this installation that you had experienced. So I would encourage people to get out there, engage with what interests you, and also open up a conversation about that thing with one of your friends. Like share in that and kind of see like what you can explore and where we can move forward based on that piece of media. Because I think art, especially nowadays, we really need art to step up to the plate a little bit, I would say. And And I think in ways where we are experiencing a monoculture, I do kind of feel like in 2025, we are we're a little bit coming back to monoculture, a teeny bit with the success of the movie Sinners, with Love Island that has recently ended this summer. Like Love Island season 7, US has been it has taken over social media, like on TikTok, on Instagram, Twitter. Like everyone has been talking about this season. So even last season, people were talking about it. So we are seeing glimpses of monoculture. Even with uh Oklahoma City Thunder that recently won the NBA championship. Like we are engaging more so with things that are kind of spanning the gamut, but we're all kind of consuming these things currently. Excuse me. But I do think it's a little bit of a fluke. Like I think that there are some things that hit where you're like, wow, Sinners did amazingly. It crushed at the box office. And now you can watch it on Max. And it's like, wow. Like this is something that a lot of different people are talking about. It's really cool that we can tap into that again. But I do think that mainly we're on like even with the TV show The Bear. So season 4 has recently come out. You can watch that on Hulu. And I watched seasons 1 through 3 all together. Not all together. What am I saying? When they first dropped, I pretty much binged over the course of maybe like 3, 4, maybe 5 days at max. And season 4 has come out, and I will get to it eventually, but it's like, I'm not in any type of rush, So I feel like even with things like that, where everyone was watching The Bear when it first came out, like everyone, if you didn't watch season 1 when it first came out, you watched season 2 because everyone was talking about it, and now it's kind of died down. Maybe it's just the popularity potentially of it, but we just aren't really watching a lot of the same things. So in order to like engage culturally, I think that it would be really cool if we are talking about the things that we are watching, getting other people's opinions, and just thinking through what it is that we're seeing so that we can continue to have community. And in my next segment, well, my only segment, I guess, called Pod Corner, I want to recommend a podcast that talks a lot about culture, talks a lot about how do we connect the dots between this thing we're seeing in the news, this other thing we're seeing in the news, or this television show, this movie, this phenomena that we're seeing. How do we connect the dots? How do we think about it? How do we approach these discussions? And it is NPR's It's Been a Minute. And I really enjoy this podcast because I think it comes out twice a week, actually. And it's only about 20 minutes long. And the host on there, Brittany Luce, is like a really cool host. Like she's able, well, I mean, maybe they're writers too. I think they're writers on this show. It's essentially a news show, but it's a news culture show. And she's threading the needle on a lot of different ways that we can think about culture with guests that she has on the show. Maybe they're journalists or people who are consuming media for their jobs, reporters, etc. So, yeah, I just really enjoy that podcast. It's called It's Been a Minute, and I feel like it was fitting for me to recommend that podcast based on what I'm talking about today about monoculture. Where is our monoculture? Is it okay that we don't really have one anymore? Like, how do we move forward? How do we engage in different ways of thinking? How do we come together with how we're approaching these discussions? Like, what are the things that we're doing in order to, stay connected? Because I just think that that's very important for us to be able to stay connected with people be empathetic, see where someone else is coming from, and being able to approach these things in a way where we can solve issues, like solve some really big problems that we might have. But thank you all so much for listening and watching. Please share with a friend, and I'll see y'all later. Bye. This has been another episode of the Me in the Making podcast. Please rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Tell a friend, tell a family member. We all deserve to grow and change and become our best selves, whatever that might look like to you. And please connect on Instagram at Making Me Pod, on TikTok. You can email me at meli@makingmepod.com. I would love to hear from you. Let me know if you want to be a guest on the show. And yeah, I'm just having such a great time. I'm so happy to have been able to launch this video episode for you all, and come again. Bye.